All right, here we go again. Buckle up. We're going to try to smooth these rough roads. So, when we look at these civil affairs people and people that can help us work the psychology, again, part of it is also the home nation, right? What can we do? Again, patriotism works sometimes. I don't want to say necessarily stand and fight. We know El Salvador exists. We know El Salvador went really rough, and again, some of those people are in some pretty bad detention scenarios that nobody wants to be in. But again, they did pick up on the other side and say, now, we're going to try to bring some of these people back from the edge. Now that they understand the alternative is better than what they were doing. Thank you much. And of course, I'm sure they're trying to make sure the young people live an honorable life and don't have issues as much as before. Again, before, part of the system was that the children weren't protected from being pressed into crime, or the young people. So, so we have to get people in from, again, there's National Guard, SF, they can do some of that, but we want people that really know what they're doing. Again, I don't know who exactly to tell you to use, but I do know, they are in some of the National Guard units. But again, maybe you want to use regular Army because they're on the payroll and they're working right now anyway. Right? Sometimes they're just doing training stuff because there's just nowhere to apply what their skills are. So you give them a place to apply the skills, and they can help you understand, how to. Again, officers have some civil affairs sense, some psyop sense. But if we bring them in, they may be able to tell you, well, when you walk in there, this is how you want to do it, right? And figure out a little bit more. And again, how to approach the entire community. Like even with these people that are protesting, how do you approach them? What's the best message? Again, you look at social media, you get this back and forth. Again, the administration has to be careful of that. That worked for an election, but when you're governing, if you're creating friction, if you're disrespecting, that increases the opposition, the active opposition. Their minds are moving against you, right? Instead of you just staying off to the side, right, until you need to say something. But of course, they're being very insulting and everything else. Again, from a government perspective, as long as they are lawful, that's fine. But when they're again blocking streets and roads is unlawful. And again, the National Guard might be needed. So we want to bring in people from that angle. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if is this allergies or a sinus infection. I'm kind of leaning towards a sinus infection now, right? Which would make sense because I feel really weird, right, a little bit. So it could be the sinus infection. I just don't have a fever, right? And the guy gave me the antibiotic, but I had COVID with it. So who knows if it did anything, right? Yeah, I had some, a lot of discharge and different things during COVID, and so I had like 2 or 3 different things there. So I need to. I don't know if I need to go to a physical doctor or just go to a telehealth and get the medicine. Right. Telehealth is easier, but I might need a swab of the sinuses. I guess I can call a telehealth guy and ask him if I should do that. Right. He may be able to order it. Sometimes they order it too. Right. They can order a test somewhere every so often. Be one of them that they can. Well, because if they can find it, then they know exactly what antibiotic to use. Right. They did it for my mother once. They swabbed something, and I think it was her. She had an infection, a urinary tract infection, and they swabbed it, and they found out what antibiotics were effective against it. Yeah, because it just picked up. I'm got a lot of drip right now. Well, I was wondering, like, it was the inside doing it, because I was inside in the allergens, right? But I'm outside now. Right. So if that's what it is, like, because I remember I felt like really bad, like last, I guess, early fall, late summer, early fall, and I took the first course of antibiotics and it went away. Right. I felt great. Right. So that may be what it is. But I'm wondering if it coincides with anything else too. You know, you never know. Like at the same time, the allergens went away or something. Right. This was just a little warmer. It sucks that it's still chilly. Yeah, it was sunnier yesterday. It was supposed to be sunnier today. Weather reports are kind of bombing out. Right. I'm waiting for all my bill pay to clear so I can, you know, look at it and see what it looks like. I didn't do as bad during COVID as I thought I was going to do. And I think returning the Apple products really helped me. But I think the price I ended up paying was somewhere around one of the devices because I bought the iPad Mini, which I really wanted, but it just none of that wouldn't even work for me. Right. Wish Google made or Android made a nice Android tablet like the iPad Mini. I'm sure it'd be real nice. But these phones are fine. Trying to lose weight too, that's why I'm walking. Now I gained way too much. Right. Read, sir. Oh, I do have to drink water too. I got to remember that. Could be dehydrating, and that helps with the sinuses. Yeah, I definitely think it's something outside of allergens at this point. It's really a loss. I had the pollen wise working in this area, so I had a real time allergen reading, and without it, I can't tell. Like right now, I could go to the pollen wise if it was working in this area, and I'd see if I saw an increase in pollen or mold or something like that. I'd know that that's what it was. So again, I think the Agents Association should, uh, or if so, there could be a go-between. Driggs can be the go-between if necessary. But somebody should approach, DOJ with that idea of a meeting, a sit down. So maybe they get forward of all that nonsense. But UPS is actually moving real slow. It's kind of weird. Well, it actually moved really fast. The item got up here in I think less than a day. And it really zipped from Texas. I think it was the Dallas area. Right. And then it just stalled. Again, it was the weekend. Right. But it's trying to say it's going to be delivered like the same day as SurePost. That makes no sense. Right. That's Wednesday. So it has to be in the place where they deliver it from today. I mean, it doesn't make any sense because she told me it was moving towards Lenexa. So it was Lenexa is the place it had to go to, I think, unless they turn it around and send it somewhere else. I'm trying to look at my UPS app and see what might be there. I mean, I don't think this is a busy mail. Oh, Valentine's Day, maybe it's starting to slow down, possibly. Right. Yeah, it's still saying February 5th. She says, we can deliver it up to 7 days, but I'm thinking, you know, why? Why would it take that long? Right. She said we can, anywhere from thing too. So the amoxicillin didn't work. That's usually what they give you. Generally they would do a culture to see what does work. Right. No, I just definitely need to get rid of this thing. Again, my mind couldn't focus on it. Right. I probably need to see a doctor for it. Right. No, I did wear the mask when I started going in for massage. I started wearing the mask, and that could have caused it or increased it. Right. Right. Because I would wear the mask when I went in shopping up until like recently, like maybe I don't know how long, 6 months to a year. Right. So the first, I think I'm still wearing it. Possibly no, I think it was before that. Oh, I was wearing the mask for something else. The mask may be giving me the sinus infections. Right. So this is what I was talking about. Well, again, there's probably various reasons. The news is saying you're releasing them back into the U.S. again, but that's only a certain number, and you're going to start moving them to. Oh, yeah, Christy Noem, the use of Gitmo. Right. She articulated it well, but she got lost in it. That's what I was talking about. Right. There's again, I think there was a simpler statement she could have made, so she needs to remember it for that. Well, they were trying to badger her into saying that families would be held there. She got around to it, but the idea is the detentions are until they can be moved back to their nation of origin or a third nation. Right. Well, some of those people can just actually be left in Mexico because that's where they came from. I think that's still in effect. Like they come from, let's say Colombia doesn't accept our flight. Well, if they enter from Mexico, I think we can put them in Mexico, but I'm not remembering if that was countered or anything. So essentially, the simple answer that she got lost in was that they'll be housed in Gitmo until we can put them back to their nation of origin or a third nation that accepts them. Right. But it's not like we're not housing. She did say it, but it got because they were wheeling her down. Right. So right. She just has to rehearse the quick answer just in case it happens again. Right. Everybody should rehearse the quick answer. Gitmo is a housing for these people, and it's not like, again, if we can't get them somewhere, they could end up there for a while if they're like a terrorist or something. Right. But again, the housing and the treatment is a little bit different. I think. I don't know. I would think. I don't know if you have varying security levels there or not. I think even in the Gitmo detainees, you had varying security levels. Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, I was going somewhere with that. The bottlenecks and things like that in the system have to be worked out. Gitmo's coming online. There was another Ford I think you said you were going to use, right, or some other space, so that has to come online, right? Now I don't know if transportation is readily available or not, or how we would do that to speed that up. Well, because one thing to detain them and have a place for them, and another thing to get them there. Right. A little bit of Gatorade. I remember my Gatorade. I have to call the doctor and ask him what he thinks or she thinks about doing a swab. Is it necessary? Because the amoxicillin worked the first time, but it didn't work the second time. So, right. And again, I had COVID and everything else. Who knows what that was? Right. And then I'm using this humidifier. I got to wonder if You can actually put bacteria into the air with the humidifier. The key is not to use the heat all that much. And you don't have to use the humidifier all that much. Yeah, actually, they're blocking me from something here. Where's that phone at? The other phone. I was reading a bunch of stuff that I was going to speak on. I don't know. Yeah, that's a big one. All for show. Arrested migrants released back in the USA. So everybody, again, it shouldn't just be Kristi Noem, because then they hype. It was just like Homan before. Then they hyper focus on the one person, and then they f off the one person. That's why she's starting to have trouble. With that, we going around trying to find the words because they're effing her off. So we have to. You might want to have a roster. I said that before. And so she'll have some downtime from being seen. You're up, you're seen, you're down. Right. So I don't know who else you want to use. Whoever it is, maybe Homan. You bring Homan back out. Maybe Mike comes out and says some things. Maybe other people in ICE. I don't know who you want to use. So with this, you have to counter this thing. Now I think and then you could say that's what this additional space is about, right? Now the other part is, because I don't want you to be blindsided, is transportation. Like, all right, so if you transport them to the new places, you'll have places where you are. So transportation's not as as imminent or as pertinent, because eventually you'll right. So again, the same idea. You just got to keep them moving, right? Keep your local space free. So it was Gitmo and somewhere else. I don't remember the other space. So if this comes up, or you think you want to counter it, you could do that. Tell them that's what your new space is about. But I know there's a second one. You got to remember the second one. So ICE is going to use Gitmo and another facility for detention. What is that other facility? Maybe it'll work. No, I myself didn't agree to Gitmo detention. I believe in the system that we have, that convict them of a crime, right? Actually, I think that messed up some of the cases, and some of them got rich off of that. I just say, look, I got nothing. These people get rich. Your system's a lie. What was the other location? Well, if you don't have one, make sure you have one, because they're going to ask you about families. So you have to have a new, and I think you do. I think there's another Fort or something. I know we use Fort McCoy, and I brought that up under the first Trump administration, so you can actually credit me with a lot of this. I brought up Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, for the Mariel boat lift, and that's when we started doing the other stuff. Right. Well, putting them at Guantanamo Bay doesn't mean that they're going to be treated like an active terrorist cell, right? Again, it's just I don't know if you will, maybe you will, but it's just an active housing location, right? And it, right. Yeah, I mean, you should figure out what you're going to do. Again, uh, you're saying it's the worst of the worst. You're going to have some security, but I don't know what that security is going to be. Maybe you still want levels of security. Some people will be in high security, some people will be in medium, or some will be in low. Again, don't over security people if you don't have to, right? It just makes it easier to run the place if you have people that aren't really high security, because you can, again, Gitmo is a certain place. It's a housing facility. You don't have to have the entire place high security, right, unless you need it. Well, because it was used for something, that's how people see it. But I think you even had differing levels of security back then. You're already increasing the staff. Yeah, okay, it's not going to be the same. Tense on the scrolling, yeah. Right, okay, there it is. Right. Right, so it's not high security, it's a tent city. So okay, yeah. So all right. So again, that's the talking point, that this is not going to be Gitmo terror facility. She may not have known it, who knows? She's so busy with a lot of different things. So right, so go that'd be the other thing where everybody needs to say the truth, essentially, that we know some people are being released. That's why we're building the tent city at Gitmo, and this is not going to be Gitmo Al Qaeda detention center. This is something different. It's similar to what we've done before, but it's located in a area that we can easily use that's not being used currently, and right, and also it's comfortable for repatriation flights to Central and South America, right? Plus the islands. So make sure everybody understands that you're not actually doing Gitmo. The Gitmo is the location, but you're not doing terrorist cell Gitmo. Right. So people need to know that. Well, when she says the worst of the worst, people might think that they're going to, do the orange suit or thing or something, right? I mean, you still might use orange suits, but right, you're doing like the Sheriff Arpaio thing on Gitmo, right? Thank you, Larry. Bless you, sir. God bless you. Who's blessing me? Somebody's blessing me. Or maybe a group of you, and it comes in a single voice. Well, the thing is, all of this is going to hit the courts. Like the opposition to all this at a certain point, if we have to fight the agent things and all that, firings, there's no. And again, these are our people, really. Well, they give you a case, you do the case. And actually, in reality, like let's say it's retaliation, and then this message, loyalty message, and all that. It actually does a reverse kind of, because it'll confuse the agents. Well, they're asking us to do something, right? It actually backfires. It'll actually backfire because now they have to worry about the next administration doing what this administration is doing. Again, that's why I'm saying stop. Right. Because it just went from one administration to the next. We investigate this person, they investigate that person. Right. Somebody's got to be the bigger person and stop the bullshit, the retaliation. This is weird because my sinus is fixed and now they're messed up again. I wonder if it is allergens. I have to look on the other thing. Okay, it's nothing shocking. I mean, you're just building a tent city at Gitmo. I mean, it's just an available location that's conducive to what we're doing. Right? You could actually even house family there if you had the right mix of support. Because it's not Gitmo. They're not housing them in Gitmo. If this is correct. Right. Well, it's the naval base that has space, and they're building a tent city it's just like Sheriff Arpaio's tent city. That's what they're building, or something similar. So that's really what they're doing. Well, with the demonstrations, we knew it was Sunday, right? So if it carries into Monday and Tuesday, then we have concerns. So there's right. Well, it just could have been a weekend thing. They had time on their hands, and right. But that's what we don't want to cause. So we want to try to move things to make sure they just protests are okay, and that one was the wrong type of protest. But we don't want to get at them. We don't want them to get so active that they're out there every day. Right. The weekend is a good sign that it's only a weekend thing, and right. Well, it doesn't mean like Musk is doing things and Bove is doing things, but one of the issues is that it's open ended. We're not CYAing, which is what I was hoping you would do. Well, because if you don't CYA, you don't know when it's going to come and get you. Remember, Shifty Schiff is out there, and he's figuring what he wants to do with all that, right? And his people, right? Well, when it's open ended, they can bring lawsuits and tort claims and all sorts of stuff, and temporary orders and. But when you see why, it's less likely that it's going to get anywhere and you're going to spend any time arguing it. Right. I mean, if somebody inquires about what Elon's doing, the judges will back it 100% because they want to know where their data is and who has access. They're going to ask who has access. So they want to know who it is. They may want names. They might appoint a special master over the program to watch it if you don't, like I said, put some people in because, oh, Your Honor, we did this, that, and the other thing. Right. See, I told you, you're putting yourselves in the wrong way. Thanks, Larry. Right. I mean, if they go before a judge and they ask, well, we don't know who these people are. We don't know what they're accessing. We don't know what their security protocols are because these are not the government people that we're handling the security code. The judge will say, sure. You're not going to say, I want to know where my information is, but that's going to be the reason. So again, you have to be smarter than the thing that comes against you. Thank you, Mary. And like I said, they're probably going to time all that to flood you with all these lawsuits at the same time. That's what they did last time. And it may be when you need them not to. Regular. I understand somebody learned the names of the people that did this to me. Right. And it's ugly. Right. Okay. All right, 30 minutes up. Well, take peaceful, pray God.